Okay, welcome, folks. Mobile Geezer here for Friday Night Tech Talk once again. And I'm very glad you're here. If you're new here, please say something in the comments so I'll know that you're here, and let us know where you're from. And for the first time, Annette was the first one in here. She got in here a few minutes ago. Nobody else has come in as yet, so I'm very glad that you got in here first, Annette. And not sure who's going to be joining us tonight. I haven't talked to Ted or Will. Now, you know, Ted is the more likely one to come in, but this being December and Ted being a photographer, he's been going out and doing some Christmas light photography. I know that's what he did last week, so I can't exactly say I'm expecting him in. And Will, I haven't heard from, so we never know. And here's Eleanor. Hi, Eleanor. Glad you're here. You and Annette are the two first ones in here, so glad you guys are here. Nobody else has dropped in as yet. So, of course, we know Mike is probably outdoor dashing and making money for Christmas. So I've kept my theme of winter and Christmas behind me. That was Eleanor's suggestion, and thought that was a very good idea. So I'm going to keep that for this month. For new people, yes, we talk about tech stories from the last week, from last Friday to this Friday. And I try to come up with the ones who I think might be the kind of heavy hitter stories of the week. And I also try to come up with something that you guys haven't heard anywhere else. So I usually come up with about 6 articles for you guys, and we go through them. And of course, you guys can make any comments you want. So all the stories for tonight, the show notes are on my webpage. So let me present that screen and show you what that looks like, just in case you're new here. And my webpage is always published the night before. So anytime after about 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night, you can go to mobilegeezer.com. That's where you find it, and click on the first story. That'll usually be the Friday night show notes. So as you can see, tonight's 12/8. If you click on 12/8, you'll get just tonight's show notes. And as I do every week, I will give you a, and I forgot to tell you, as I often do, that we're simulcast at the same time on YouTube and both of my Facebook IDs, which is Mobile Geezer or George Hayes. So simulcast on all 3 at once. All right, so I'll give you a little show notes preview of the stories we're going to go over tonight. This week, AMD had their Advancing AI event, so we're going to cover that first. The AMD Advancing AI event announces new chips and new processors. Now, I usually try to make the second story the what I consider heavy hitter story of the week, just to give people time to come in. So that's the first story. They had theirs on Wednesday, I believe, 12/6. So we'll go over what they brought over, some very new heavy hitter chips. And these are AI chips. It's very hard to get a story that's not AI these days, as you'll see. So then the next story we'll go over, this was the big announcement of the week. Google introduced Gemini. Google's Gemini has arrived, making Bard much better. So they've put Gemini embedded in Bard, and Bard is much, much better, I gather. And we'll go over the article from The Verge, but I also gave you a video from another guy on a follow-up channel. Let me just click on that for a second. And of course, I'm getting a commercial. Let me see if I can skip this commercial. Just wanted to give you this guy. Okay, so this guy's name is Matt Wolf. So if you go to his channel, Let's see if I can click out of here without killing all my show notes. Of course, you can click on that link here, but he's come out with another one today, and I'll tell you about that as we get to that. But anyway, the Google Gemini is considered a big deal. And remember, they've been trying to catch up with GPT-4. And some people are saying, well, they have caught up with GPT-4. But that's what this guy's second video today is about. And I'll let you know about that in a few minutes. Third story is going to be, I said, someone's made a functional Android iMessage beeper, and it actually works on iMessage and gives you a blue bubble, not a green bubble. So all is good, right? And they found a way to get it to work. And so far, up until yesterday, Apple had not bothered them at all. And towards the end, you'll see in the article, they ask if they think Google will stop them. The guy, the president of the company or CEO, didn't think so. Well, we'll get to some further information on that came out today. And then we're going to hit Spotify. I just found out yesterday, Spotify cut a bunch of their employees a couple of days ago, or Monday. So we'll get to that because I hadn't heard that anywhere. And then Sony, this one was interesting. I just happened to find this one. This is one of those stories I think you're probably not going to find in many other places. The Galaxy S25 series, now that's not the 24 that's coming out next month, the 25, to use Sony cameras instead of Samsung cameras. So that would be a surprise. So we'll get to that story. And our last story, Elon's X.AI has come out with their chatbot called Grok. And they just started it day before yesterday. So we'll talk about that. So those are going to be our stories for the week. And for you who are not into tech that heavily, the first one, I probably won't read it all because it's kind of technical. It's very technical. And me being a programmer for years, even I found this story pretty technical. So nobody's dropped in yet. If Ted comes in or Will comes in, I will let you guys know. Meanwhile, let's click on that first story, and that's on The Verge. So AMD releases new chips to power faster AI training. And that's what these two chips are all about, making the training of the AI itself faster. Both of these chips are geared toward that, and you'll see that. And this was written by Emila David day before yesterday, and that's the day of the event. So let me get this in reader view, get rid of some of these ads. Okay. AMD wants people to remember that NVIDIA is not the only company selling AI chips. It's announced the availability of new accelerators, and that's the key, accelerators, and processors geared towards running large language models. So both of these chips are geared toward making these language models run faster and learn faster. That's what it's all about. The chip maker unveiled the Instinct MI300X accelerator and the Instinct M1300A accelerated processing unit, which the company said works to train and run LLMs. So both of these are going to make the large learning models learn faster. And both of these can handle trillions of things at one time. The company said the MI300X has 1.5 times more memory capacity than the previous M1250X version. So that doesn't sound like much in our terms, but in real speed, that's really advancing the speed. Both new products have better memory capacity and are more energy efficient than their predecessors, said AMD. So they're just making this stuff better and faster and faster and faster. Large language models continue to increase in size and complexity, requiring massive amounts of memory and compute. So that's what these are giving you, massive amounts of memory. AMD CEO Lisa Su said, and we know the availability of GPUs is the single most important driver of AI adoption. Su said during her presentation that MI300X is the highest performing accelerator in the world. She claimed MI300X is comparable to NVIDIA's H100, and NVIDIA has made a big deal out of their H100 chip in training LLMs, but performs better on the interference side. So she's saying it matches this in training, but it performs better. 1.4 times better than H100 when working with Meta's Llama 2, and 70, get this, a 70 billion parameter large language model. So these things can work on things with 70 billion parameters at the same time. That's what makes them so mind-blowing. AMD partnered with Microsoft. So you can see they partnered with Meta or Facebook and with Microsoft. So they're with the big hitters. AMD partnered with Microsoft to put MI300X in its Azure virtual machines. And that's one of Microsoft's big money makers. Microsoft CTO Kevin Scott, a guest during Sue's speech, so he was, I guess, on stage with her, announced that the Azure ND MI300 virtual machines, first revealed in November, are now available on preview. Meta also announced it will deploy MI300 processors in its data centers, so they've already got contracts with both Microsoft and Meta. Not bad. Su said AMD released the MI300A EPU for data centers. So this is strictly for the large language models in the data centers, which she said are expected to grow its total addressable market to $45 billion. APUs generally combine CPUs and GPUs for faster processing. AMD said the MI300A offers higher performance computing, faster model training, and that's what this whole thing was about, and 30 times energy efficient improvement. Compared to the H100 from NVIDIA, AMD said it has 1.6 times the memory capacity. It also featured unified memory, so there's no need to move data from different devices anymore. So now your data just stays there, and these things just go in and work on it all at once. So anyway, I know this is kind of technical, but I just thought it was a good story to start with. And they are making, a lot of people are making huge advances with AR in all kinds of ways. In this regard, it's in data centers and with large language models, which is going to make them learn faster and faster and faster. So I won't go over any more, but I just thought it was interesting, and it does show how the whole AI thing, every place you turn, everybody's working on AI, and AI keeps learning faster and faster and faster. So just thought that was a very interesting story. Nothing new in the comments. So, and if Ted doesn't come in, this is probably going to be a quick night, which I'm sure you know. So, second story, and this was the big hitter of the week. Google's Gemini has arrived, making Bard much better. And if anybody who doesn't know, Bard is Google's AI that we can interact with both on our phones and on our computers. And up until now, it hasn't been anywhere near as good as OpenAI's ChatGPT-4, which basically belongs to Microsoft. So we're trying to catch up. I didn't think they would catch up, but some people are saying maybe they already have. So this is on The Verge also, so let's go take a look at that. Google's Bard chatbot is getting way better thanks to Gemini. Now keep in mind, Bard is the one we can all use. Google's chatbot is the best place to try out its new supposedly, notice they said supposedly, state-of-the-art model. Can it catch up to ChatGPT? And I think that's why they said supposedly, because kind of nobody thought they were going to catch ChatGPT anytime soon. So maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Now, I can tell you that other link that I gave you guys below this story in YouTube, the story, he was very impressed. And if you look at that link, you'll see he was very impressed with their Gemini embedded in Bard. And this guy uses a lot of the AI stuff. But today he came out with another one that said in their presentation, it was obvious they were faking some stuff and making it look like it was working as well. But you'll see that, or I'll get to that, and I'll show you that video in a minute. But let's get through the story first. So let's drop this into reader view. While OpenAI's chat GPT has become a worldwide phenomenon, that's true, and one of the fastest growing consumer products ever, Google's Bard has been something of an afterthought. The chatbot has steadily gained new features, including access to your data across other, that's what we want to hear. It has more access to our data across other Google products, but price you pay, I guess, for using this stuff. But its answers and information have rarely seemed to rival what you get from ChatGPT and other bots using GPT-3 and GPT-4. Hold up. I think Ted's in here. Ted, are you there?
Yep.
We have a voice. We don't have a face as yet, but we have, you know how Ted likes to make an entrance.
It's just a voice for tonight.
Okay, all right, just a voice. We'll take it. So, have you been following? I'm only on the second story.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm on the
Gemini.
Gemini story. So I'm going to continue with that. Okay, the case for Bard may have just gotten more compelling, though. As of today, and this was 2 days ago, I believe, for English-speaking users in 170 countries, Bard is now powered by Google's new Gemini model, which says it matches and even exceeds OpenAI's tech, we'll see, in a number of ways. Google says Gemini is coming to more languages and countries in the near future. Bard is now running Gemini Pro. Now get this, there are 3 levels here, Pro, Ultra, and Nano, I think, which we have on the Google Pixel 8 Pro right now, which I do not have. But Bard is now running Gemini Pro, the middle tier of the Gemini series. Ultra is the biggest and slowest, but most capable. They don't have Ultra out yet. Nano is small and fast and meant to run for on-device tasks, and Pro sits right in the middle. And one of the other YouTubers showed Nano working on his Pixel 8 Pro today. Not that he showed much, but he talked all about it, and he said it is on his Pixel 8 Pro. It's not on any of the other phones yet, as far as I know. It's meant to be the Goldilocks version of the model, really fast and efficient, that's the Pro, while still as capable as possible. Pro is meant to be, we already said that. Sissy Sayo, who runs Bard and assistant at Google, said in the press briefing that Gemini, get this, represents the biggest and best upgrade yet for Bard. It should be a marked improvement for just about everything Bard already does, summarizing, brainstorming, writing, and the like. And as I tell you, this guy in this other YouTube video that you can click on under the story was very impressed. Today, he went back through and not so much. Sundar Pichai, Google CEO, tells me that in his testing, he's found that there's not so much a whiz-bang new feature as there is just an overall improvement across the board. So Bard is just a whole lot better with this Gemini embedded in it. I think people are just going to find that the product got a lot better. It understands the intent better, it's answering better, it's more factual, higher quality. If you're trying to code, it's better. Now, let's keep in mind, when they first came out with Bard, they embarrassed themselves because they were trying to catch up with Microsoft and OpenAI and ChatGPT, and it didn't work so well. So from what I saw in this guy's video from yesterday and today is that they again rushed it out, trying to catch up, I guess, with ChatGPT. And yeah, they didn't embarrass themselves in their presentation, but when he went back and looked today in his second video, as opposed to his video from yesterday, well, it looked like they were faking a number of things. So just wanted you to be aware of that. Right now, Bard is still just a chatbot. You type, it types back. But there's a new version of Bard coming soon. And I said I thought they rushed it. Coming soon. Next year, Google is planning to launch a preview of Bard Advanced, powered by Gemini Ultra. So we don't even have Gemini Ultra yet, but they announced it anyway yesterday or the day before, which is the most powerful and capable version of Google's new large language model. Gemini Ultra is also the multimodal version of the model, meaning it can accept and create images, audio, and video in addition to just text. Notice they're not telling us when this is coming next year. The non-text interactions are where Gemini in general really shines, and those are the ones we can't get yet because we don't have Ultra yet. The non-text interactions are where Gemini really shines, says Dennis Hassabis, the head of Google DeepMind. We built it to be natively multimodal from the ground up, he says. That's one of the new capabilities that it has, the kinds of seamless integration and reasoning it can do across modalities. Yes, but we don't have it yet. I think they just rushed announcing it again. Google's demos included, now get this, the YouTuber Mark Rober using Bard to make the perfect paper airplane, including by taking photos of his designs and get AI-provided feedback. And parents uploaded pictures of their children's homework to get help figuring out where their math went wrong. So I guess part of that part would probably work now. That's all just demos and promotional videos for now, though. And that's what this guy found, that these promotional videos were just that, and they probably were kind of faking stuff in them. So keep that in mind. Chai says he thinks of this launch both as a big moment for Bard and as the very beginning of the Gemini era. But if Google's benchmarking is right, the new model might already make Bard as good a chatbot as ChatGPT, and that's what it's all about, catching ChatGPT. I said weeks ago I didn't think they were going to catch him. This is implying they have, and I don't think they have. That's just my opinion. So anyway, just wanted you guys to be aware of that. To Google, this story, this announcement is a very, very big deal. Did you see any of the announcement, Ted?
Nope.
No. Okay. I didn't see it either. I just saw these stories. But on this second story, this second video, follow up. Just going to click on it again to give you guys a name again. Oh, once I get past commercial again. Okay. So you can click on the one I have here. This video was from yesterday. And like I said, this guy really knows his AI stuff. And he went through and he was trying stuff, in his video from Google. And he was very impressed. But if you look at a new video that he produced today, let me see if I can show you where that is, because I do have it on Google Keep over here. Okay, see if I can Google Keep up here. At least give you guys a link where you can find this thing. Let's see. At least I thought I had the link. Okay, no, I don't. But like I said, back out of here. If you go to his link, the next video that he did about the Gemini, today's video, he thinks they were faking some stuff in the presentation, which says to me they're just rushing things out. Just my opinion. So, Ted, the only ones that have typed in the comments so far are Annette and Eleanor. So I don't know who else may be in here. I'm stopping screen for a minute. So, anything new with you this week?
New. New.
Anything interesting or new?
Let's see. A friend took the e-bike I got for a spin.
Oh, well, have you been using it?
Oh yeah. I've been commuting on it.
Okay, so you like it better?
Yeah. It's there's a ghost pedal, so I can just pretend to pedal and it'll get me up to 25 miles an hour.
Well, wait a minute.
easily.
Keep in mind, I have two bikes with no power except me. So what is I don't know what ghost pedaling is.
Ghost pedaling is when you're pedaling, but you're not really doing anything. You're just
okay.
You're just moving the pedal so that the electric motor kicks in and gets you someplace.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, but you're a commuter, and I just find that much more acceptable because you're actually commuting to work. These people that ride in the park with motors, I just think that's a waste of time.
Yeah, but with so it gets me up to 25 miles an hour easily, but
25 miles an hour is pretty fast on a bicycle, I can tell you.
But it's the quality, I don't, it's not, I'm not in my zone minutes on my Fitbit. So that's gotten down.
Really?
Yeah. So, I rather, feel like I'm doing something and not.
Oh, okay. Now, how do you get in your zone minutes? Is it the amount that you're putting out from your own body?
Yeah. Like it measures, your heart rate. Fitbit measures your heart rate and your blood pressure, and then they say like, okay, you're in shape, you're working out. It counts like a workout.
And see, that's active. The thing. You're, I think, kind of like me. You're pretty in shape. Every time I've seen you, you've been pretty in shape. So the more in shape you are, of course, the harder it is to raise these things, right?
Yeah. Like you can like do the normal amount of things, but like ever since I got this e-bike and I'm commuting with it, like my Fitbit thinks I am barely being active.
Okay, yeah, and I can understand that. Yeah, now if it was following me on my bike, since I do all of the petting, it would probably get a lot. Yeah, but even in the last, I'd say 6 or 7 years, I have to put out a whole lot more work to get my heart rate up to say 110 than I did 7 or 8 years ago because I'm in that much better shape. So it's harder for me to get it up there. So I understand that. Yeah. Oh, here's Renz. Renz, glad you're here, brother.
Hey, Renz, what's up?
Look, he always apologizes. You don't have to apologize. You're at work. We understand that. And he says busy already. Okay. One more thing. Oh, well, happy birthday. I guess I should say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right. That's the Stevie version.
Happy birthday, Renz.
I hope you're enjoying it, but he's still at work.
He's at work.
The guy puts in the work every Saturday. And I'm always very, very grateful when you pop in, Renz. Very happy about that. I hope you have a very pleasant birthday weekend. It's the best thing I can wish for you.
Oh, yeah. So the reason why I brought up the bike, I let a friend ride it.
Right.
And they crashed.
Really?
Yep. From what they were telling me, they came up to a split on the road, and instead of like going left or right, they just went straight.
And instructors even on motorcycles will tell you if you put your eyes directly on something, you're probably going to ride right exactly to what you're looking at. And people on motorcycles do that too.
So it was a bit
bad. Did he get hurt?
Oh yeah, she got hurt pretty bad.
Okay.
She got hurt pretty bad.
Did she have to go to the hospital or anything?
Yeah. She had to get X-ray her foot because the bike somehow fell on her foot, and it's a 70-pound bike.
So did it fracture it or anything? Or
no, thank goodness, no. But it got swollen. They had to put her in a special glove sock.
Boot.
Yeah, the boot. They had to put her in the boot. and
Okay.
she didn't wear a helmet, so like the fence, like her lip got cut up a bit,
Yeah, I
and
can understand it.
like her
Even I
face
always
swelled
wear
up.
a helmet because I don't want my head splitting open.
But it was, yes.
Okay, so, but so she's not in the hospital now. She's kind of recovering, I guess.
Yeah, she's recovering. Yeah, she's doing a lot better, but she's
Now,
still wearing. She got to
did
wear
she
that.
wreck the bike?
Yeah, there was some damage to the bike. The front fender. Yeah, the front fender is no good, and ever since, and yeah, there was some scratches, but ever since that incident, there's these moments where the bike will just randomly turn off.
This is in your commute.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I
And
assume
then
you
I could
took
just,
off the front fender so you could ride it.
no, it comes with fenders, so that's good. But yeah, I took off the front fender so it doesn't
That's what I meant. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I took that off. But
So it's just turning all by itself.
yeah, just randomly, like I'll feel something like happen in the back in the motor, and then it just turns off. Then I just turn it back on while I'm psychic. It'll turn back on, okay.
Oh,
But
okay. So it kind of gives you a little warning just before it happens.
no, it's not a warning, but I can sense when it happens, like, oh,
Okay.
like there's that feeling, it's about to turn off.
All right. So at least you can anticipate it. That's good.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna return it by this weekend or maybe next weekend. I'm actually
Okay.
gonna get my original bike fixed up, get the wheel replaced and all that.
The one that had the wheel stolen.
Yep. But it made me look at this other bike that's on.
Now you're looking at a third bike. Okay.
Yeah, there's a third bike. Now this one is a torque sensor. Now with a torque sensor, the e-bike I'm riding now is a cadence sensor. So with a cadence sensor,
it senses what you're doing, what you're pedaling. I got
yeah, the cadence sensor just senses if it's spinning.
Right.
But with the torque sensor, it senses how much force I'm putting on the pedals, and then it'll give me the amount of power that I put in. So
I think that's much better for your Fitbit, I would think.
Yes, it is. It feels a lot more like riding a bike.
Look at this. Renz gives me a present for his birthday. A little something from me to you. Happy birthday to him. Thank you so much, Renz.
Thanks, Renz.
You're very, very kind.
Oh, and today's sponsor is brought to you by...
Yes, he wants to know today's sponsor, Ted.
Ben & Jerry's Tiramisu. My new favorite flavor.
I think you are a person that I may know, maybe the only person I know, that seems to like ice cream as much as I do.
Well, doesn't like ice cream.
Obviously, you like your ice cream. That's pretty obvious.
I just finished the whole pint now, but Ben & Jerry's top tiramisu, my new favorite flavor.
Okay. See, I've had Ben & Jerry's maybe twice in my whole life. I just get Walmart ice cream, but I just like ice cream.
Walmart.
I always have.
Great value?
Yes. That's
horrible.
Because I can't stand the vanilla. I can stomach that chocolate, but I get the ripple with the little chocolate swirls in it, and I'm okay with that.
Are we talking about Walmart or Ben & Jerry's?
No, we're talking about Walmart. It's cheap. You got a big tub cheap. That's why I buy it.
There's a difference between quality and quantity, George. I thought you would know that.
I agree. And when I buy a bicycle or a lot of phones or a lot of things, I want quality. When I'm eating ice cream, the way I can eat it at times, I just want some ice cream. Cheap is good.
You're like Trent.
But you're the classy ice cream eater. I'm the non-classy ice cream eater. Yeah. So.
But yeah, back to the torque sensor. Well, I think I'll definitely, the next e-bike I get will be a torque sensor as opposed to like one that'll just make me get lazy and fat on.
Okay, so are we talking in another week or two like the last one?
Nah, we're probably going to be talking next year.
Okay, so you're going to get the wheel fixed on the other one first and use that one for a while.
Yeah, I'll give that another year.
Okay, how far did I ask you what the distance is to your job for you?
6 miles.
6 miles, okay. All right. So
which I can do which I do in about 30 minutes.
That can be a pretty good workout.
Yeah, I do that in about 30 minutes.
Very good. Good.
And but with this e-bike, on this current e-bike, I could do I do like 5 miles in 18 minutes. So,
okay, good. But yeah, the torque thing would be good for you because we want Fitbit to know you are putting in some work. That's for sure. So, Okay, we ready to move on to our stories?
Let's see. Someone made a functional Android. Yes, that's in fact. I'm perfect for this story.
Yes, and I have a follow-up story once you're done. But all right. Let me present that. Let me share screen
You know,
again.
I've been knowing about this service for a long time, even before
Oh, I
Sunday.
only found out about it yesterday.
You can even say
Okay.
I've been using it. It's been helping me out on dates.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. So we're going to click on the Verge link. And whenever you're ready, I'm going to drop it into Reader View so we can get rid of some of these ads. Okay, we are in Reader View. So whenever you're ready.
All right. There's a new iMessage for Android, and it actually works. Oh, well, update. 3 days
Yeah,
after this.
I was going to give you the update in another story, but okay, go ahead.
But who is this? Who's reporting this? Is this The Verge?
Yes, this is on The Verge.
See, I hate Verge. Every time they talk about something, interesting about Apple, Apple blocks it.
But it wasn't their fault. They asked this
It's
guy
always their fault.
in the original story if they thought Apple would block it, and he kind of said no, and they did it today. So
people should know. Don't talk to The Verge.
Anyway, read the story.
The last time this happened was what was it? It was the secret app store for iPhones that, people were using iTunes to, create a secret app store that, they didn't have to deal with, Apple's mess. And,
I knew nothing about that one.
And, they Verge did a whole piece on it on a YouTube channel. After that, the next year, Apple I think it was 6 months later, Apple announced that they were closing iTunes to be compatible for iPhones.
Right. But at least that was 6 months later. This was the very next day that this story came out. So go ahead and read the story anyway.
Earlier this year, a developer slid into Eric Mijikovsky's DMs with a spectacular claim that he had reverse engineered Apple's iMessage, allowing any device, Android, Windows, whatever, to send messages as blue. Mijikovsky didn't believe what he was reading. I said, bullshit. No one has done that. No one on earth has done. Okay, well, come on.
Yeah, he really didn't believe the
message started beeper. He tried to do it himself, and he messaged everyone he could find who'd ever gotten close. No one had put all the pieces together, but now there was this developer in his DMs, a 16-year-old high school student of all people, linking him to a prototype, and it worked. That prototype became the basis for a new Android app called Beeper Mini that Mijikovsky's startup is launching today. Mijikovsky's. Open the app and it'll look at all of your text message conversations, figure out which ones are from iMessage. Let's scroll up a bit. Scroll up. Users, and switch them over to Blue Bubble conversation from Apple's platform. From then on, whenever you message an iPhone user through Beeper Mini, you'll be using iMessage and they'll be none the wiser. There were no lost messages, no broken group chats. I've been using the app for the past few weeks and I've been surprised at how smoothly it works. Messages sent from Beeper Mini on my Pixel 8 appears as blue bubbles on the iPhones for my friends and family members. Group chats, I'm automatically switch over to iMessage as soon as someone fired off a meme. Reaction, threads, photos, and videos without the messy text message compression all came through. The best thing I can say about Beeper Mini is that almost no one noticed I was using it. Blue bubbles just started appearing, no lost messages to speak of. Beeper Mini shows a growing list of apps trying to hack the iMessage experience onto Android, but Mijikovsky is adamant that Beeper Mini is not like the other services out there. It is directly sending iMessages. Other services, including Beeper's previous iMessage implementation, will relay messages through a Mac hosted in the cloud. That poses real security problems. That's true. And it's recently exemplified by Sunbird and its Nothing branded spin-off Nothing Chats. Nothing app was launched in Poland just 4 days after after security issues that were serious were discovered. Sunbird pulled its app shortly after. Beeper Mini avoids some of those problems because it's operating in a fundamentally different way. Its developers figured out how to register a phone number with iMessage send messages directly to Apple servers, and have messages sent back to your phone natively inside the app. It was a
That's pretty
tricky,
slick, isn't that pretty slick? Because now you have no security issues.
yeah, it was a tricky process that involved deconstructing Apple's messaging pipeline from start to finish. Beeper's team had to figure out where to send the messages, what messages needed to look like, and how to pull them back down from the cloud. The hardest part, Mijikovsky said, was cracking what is essentially Apple's padlock on the whole system, a check to see whether the connected device is a genuine Apple product. We jailbroke iPhones, then drove everything into the OS to see how everything worked. Then wrote a new code from scratch to reproduce everything inside our own Android app. Beeper doesn't see your messages, contacts, or password. The result, according to Mijikovsky, is a third-party implementation of iMessage that is actually secure. Beeper doesn't see your messages, your contacts, or your Apple password. It doesn't even need to log you in. It is, he says, just connecting to Apple servers like an iPhone would. Mijikovsky knows that the security will be the big question on potential users' minds. To address concerns, Mijikovsky says Beeper's iMessage code will be open source for others to review. Beeper's.
That's good.
Beeper CTO Brad Murray also spent some time trying to break open the system as if he were an attacker and is publishing his findings. The bigger question may be how long Beeper Mini can survive. Mijikovsky believes he's on the right side of the law. He points to a copyright carve for reverse engineering and says there's no Apple code in Beeper Mini. And he believes it'd be too difficult for Apple to cut Beeper off without also breaking iMessage for legions of genuine Apple devices.
Wrong.
I'm not so sure on either count. Apple is deeply protective of iMessage as the lock-in mechanism for the iPhone. And it's hard to imagine the company ignoring the spate of third-party iMessage solutions forever. At the very least, Beeper has been operating the less secure kind of iMessage relay for nearly 3 years. And Mijikovsky says he hasn't heard a word from Apple yet. Apple didn't respond to the Verge's request for comment about third-party iMessage apps. Beeper initially launched in 2021, promising to build a singular home for all your messages. The company has raised $16 million in pursuit of that goal and grown in size to about 20 people. The 16-year-old developer who reverse engineered iMessage is now working for Beeper as a contractor. Mijikovsky declined to share further details about the student, citing privacy concerns. A GitHub page belonging to the student says he lives in Pennsylvania. Beeper Mini lands at a strange moment for both Beeper and iMessage. Apple recently said it would adopt the RCS messaging standard, bringing many of the key benefits of iMessage, good quality photos, read receipts, and eventually encryption to cross-platform texting. Once those features arrive, Beeper will largely be offered to those who people will largely just be offering you that coveted blue bubble. Most people don't notice the blue bubbles. They didn't notice the bubbles had turned blue. In my experience, most people iMessage simply didn't notice. The group thread moved on, photos came through, and messages were just a different color. Of course, that's the whole thing with the whole blue-green bubble divide. It's largely artificial. It's often not about the ability to have a chat, just to identify the odd person out. That didn't matter much for me, but I suspect it will for many others, and for those who feel punished by their green bubbles, maybe Beeper Mini will be worth using. At launch, the service will cost $2 per month and only offer access to iMessage. Mijikovsky says Beeper Mini will eventually drop the Mini branding and integrate all other chat services on Beeper's main app. WhatsApp, Messenger, Signal, and so on, all hacked together to work inside a Signal convenient interface. Well, who was that? That's BlackBerry Messenger, it sounds like.
Oh, okay.
Or BlackBerry Social? I forgot. So this one day all-in-one app is currently dividing my texting experience into two. Mijikovsky says bundling SMS and RCS is coming to. All those extra services might just cost a little more, though. Even with RCS coming to iMessage, Mijikovsky thinks that there's an important role for Beeper. The long-term vision is one app that you can use to chat with anyone in the world. It's a great goal. Beeper just has its work cut out to keep them all together.
So it makes you wonder, will he keep working with the other ones and trying to get RCS and SMS working? Because they just shut him down. Now here's what I liked about it. that they were trying to break it open themselves and showing how it didn't attract anything. They were very open about it, but I think he should not have said the where's that part where he said that they had jailbroke it. I'm thinking he probably shouldn't have said that. Because the funny thing is, Apple has left them alone for 3 years, but this guy has never been able to get it work right until he got this kid. Then Apple jumped all over it. So let me get out of this one, and let me see if I can bring up the new one. Okay, so here's today's story. This was on, I found this on TechCrunch. So let me see if I can share that screen and give you a quick look at that story. And this one just came out today. I gather a few hours ago. Can you see it, Ted?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. You want to read it or you want me to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Apple cuts off Beeper Mini's access after launch of service that brought iMessage to Android by Sara Perez.
Let me see if I can drop this into reader view. Okay, go ahead. Okay, you can go.
Was it too good to be true? Beeper, the startup that reverse engineered iMessage to bring Blue Bubble's text to Android users, is experiencing an outage. The company reported via a post on X on Friday. And Apple is to blame, it seems. Users, including those at TechCrunch with access to the app, began seeing error messages when trying to send text via the newly released Beeper Mini app, and messages are not going through. Bum, bum, bum. The error message reads fails to look up on server. Lookup request timed out, spelled out in red letters.
Yeah, there it is.
In a response to a question in Reddit as to whether or not the app was broken, a Beeper team member had earlier replied, "Report a problem from the app. Give us a chance to look into it." However, Beeper CEO Eric Mijakowski responded to TechCrunch inquiry about Beeper's mini stats by pointing us to the X post acknowledging the outage and provided more detail. Asked if possibly Apple found a way to cut off Beeper Mini's ability to function, he replied, "Yes, all data indicates that." You know, why don't they just use his first name? They keep using his last name. Jeez. We don't know what this means for the future of Beeper Mini's efforts unless Beeper engineers are able to work on the problem somehow. Eric, who previously founded the smartwatch Pebble, I didn't know that, has argued that Beeper Mini
Go ahead.
wasn't just beneficial for Android, but users who wanted to finally join their iMessage friends group chats, but also increased security for iPhone users too. In an interview ahead of Beeper Mini's launch, the founder explained that green bubble texts were unencrypted. That means that anytime you text your Android voice, anyone can read the message. Apple can read the message. Your phone carrier can read the message. Google literally is just like a postcard. Anyone can read it. So Beeper Mini actually increases the security of iPhones, he told TechCrunch. Apple, on the other hand, sees iMessage as one of the key tools for locking in users to its ecosystem, which is why it won't launch an iMessage app for Android. While there was some hope that the EU regulation would make iMessage more interoperable, Newsweek this week indicates that iMessage will get a reprieve from those rules because the service is not popular enough with business users.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, that surprises me.
Yeah,
that must be in Europe, because here it's popular with business users.
iMessage, I don't really.
Probably in Europe, I guess it's different. In Europe they may be using WhatsApp, the business users.
Yeah, they do use WhatsApp.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? There was the Apple was arguing that, saying that they don't count as a gatekeeper.
Yes, that's right, because they got counted as one of the 6 gatekeepers along with Google and Microsoft and Amazon and 2 others. Oh, I think Alibaba was one and somebody
Oh
else.
man. That means Apple has no reason not to try to shut down Beeper Mini if it could. Eric is
Yeah.
not too pleased about that. I would be very interested to hear why they think making security worse for iPhone users makes sense. I would be very interested. Oh, if it's Apple, then I think the biggest question is if Apple truly cares about privacy and security of their iPhone users, that enables iPhones to send encrypted chats to Android users. With
And
their
that's
announcement,
probably what they don't want.
with the announcement of RCS support, it is clear that Apple knows that they have a gaping hole here. Beeper Mini is here today and worked great. Why force iPhone users back to sending unencrypted SMS when they chat with their friends on Android? No point. Founded in 2020, Beeper team has really been working on a multi-platform messaging aggregator, which was renamed Beeper Cloud this week as Beeper Mini went to launch. The latter uses new technology that allows Android messages to text iMessage users as if they were texting from an iPhone for just $1.99 per month.
Yeah.
Yeah, we read all this already on the other
Yeah.
article.
Yeah, you can stop. And but what I think is terrible. Well, on the one hand, I feel bad because it worked so well. And as far as bringing in Android users, he's right about it being a bit more secure. But my feeling is that since Apple decided they're going to let RCS work starting next year, I'm thinking they just want to be in control of it and they don't want anybody else in control of it. But it did work well, it seemed like. So I feel bad. Doesn't it make you feel bad for them?
No, they should know. Don't talk to The Verge.
Well, that's probably true. That way, here Renz has a comment. I hope that Beeper makes RCS messaging for iPhones. I can't wait for iOS 18 for RCS on iPhone next year. Well, Beeper's, I guess, shut down, so now we're all going to have to wait for RCS. I think this is Apple's way of telling us whether you make it work or not, even if you make it more secure for the Android users, we are going to be in charge of this, not anybody else. Don't you think that's the message they're sending? And that says happy birthday, Renz. Okay, you saw that. Good. Hafield. Oh, welcome, Hafield. And he wishes you a happy birthday also. Everybody's wishing Renz a happy birthday. I think that's awesome. Let's keep it up, especially since he's working on his birthday. So, all right. So, anyway, I'm glad we had the follow-up story, and I saw that story just before I came on. So I'm glad I put it in the notes, and I was able to pull it up. So I'm going to back to presenting. Oh, let me see. You said thanks. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going back to presenting, and I'm going to go to the next. Ted, I'm so glad you're here tonight. Good job.
Hey,
I got so I miss you when you're not here, even if we can't see you. Okay, go on to the next story. And this one, I guess a bunch of us missed. I missed it until yesterday. Spotify makes some serious employee cuts. This was on Phone Arena. So I'm going to
I think they've 1,000 PayPal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I only ran into it yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I got to include this. So Spotify makes significant workforce reduction, laying off 17% of its employees. That's a lot of people. And that was published on Monday by Sveta Emenkova. And I'm going to guess she's Russian. I've never known anybody who wasn't Russian have the name Sveta. But it doesn't matter, I guess. I'm just glad I could pronounce it. This is because I've been following tennis since the 80s, and there was a lot of Russian players and other Czechoslovakian players back in the 80s. So I learned some of those names. All right, I'm going to drop this into reader view. Okay. As the end of the year approaches, Spotify managed to deliver joy to its more than 550 million users with Spotify Wrapped and its revamped design and features. But by the end of 2023, not all the people working at the Swedish company might be in a cheerful mood. In a surprise move, Spotify announced a significant reduction in its workforce, shedding 17% of its employees. The decision comes as the music streaming giant grapples with economic uncertainties and seeks to streamline its operations. So it makes you wonder how different is the economy in Sweden, and I wonder if that has anything to do with it. In a company press release via Engadget, CEO Daniel Ek acknowledged the challenging times ahead and explained the rationale behind the layoffs. He stated that the cuts were necessary to align Spotify's cost structure with its long-term goals, and we don't know their long-term goals, and ensure sustainable growth. So this is all based on long-term goals, I'm sure. Despite recent positive earnings reports, Ek emphasized the need for decisive action to address the widening gap between Spotify's financial targets and its current operational costs. So I guess they must have a lot of costs. He acknowledged the impact on employees, expressing empathy for those affected. I know what that feels like because as a contractor, there's been a couple of times I've been laid off just before Christmas too. But I always got another contract right away. While I am convinced that this is the right action for our company, I always understand it will be incredibly painful for our team. The layoffs follow a period of rapid expansion for Spotify, driven by favorable investment conditions in 2020 and 2021. While these investments contributed to Spotify's growth, Ek acknowledged that the company's cost structure remains too high. So there's your problem. Approximately 1,500 employees are expected to be affected by the layoff. That's tough. Reducing Spotify's workforce from around 9,000 employees, so now it's going to be 7,550, I guess. To mitigate the impact, Spotify offers a 5-month severance package. Now, this is good. Health care coverage during that period and immigration career support. That, I think, is terrific of them because not many companies would do that, I think. And 5 months and health care coverage is great. Ek emphasized the importance. Well, something is ringing in your apartment, yes?
Yep, sorry about that.
Okay. Ek emphasized the importance of lean operations in Spotify's next phase, stating that it's not just an option, but a necessity. He also highlighted the company's revamped royalty model designed to better support artists while reducing fraudulent streams. That's good. Spotify's decision reflects the broader challenges facing the tech industry, with many companies facing economic headwinds and being forced to make difficult decisions. Nokia's recent announcement to slash 14,000 jobs, and tech giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta are laying off 50,000 employees collectively in 2022, and I reported all of those, underscore the industry's struggle. So obviously this was all based on the future. So he must have very solid future plans, and he knew he needed to do this. But I think the way they're covering the employees for 5 months, especially with health care, I think that's pretty awesome. I'll give him credit for that. Okay, so let me get out of here. Nothing new in the comments. All right, Ted. You up for the Sony story?
Sure am.
This one really did surprise me, even though it's still over a year away. All right, whenever you're ready, this is on Phone Arena.
Samsung may ditch its own camera sensors to go with Sony on the Galaxy S25. Well, of course they are. Samsung wasted so much time trying to fold camera sensors to get higher megapixels.
Well, that's true, I guess. All right, this is by Daniel Petrov, who writes a lot of Phone Arena stories. All right, whenever you're ready.
Samsung may ditch the 50 megapixel S5KJ N3, a 1/1.57 sensor with tetracell pixel binning technology that it uses in the phones like the S23, S23 Plus, the S23 FE, or the Z Fold line, and uses one of Sony's up-and-coming sensors in the S line instead, in a marked departure from a usual vertical integration. the tip that Samsung will switch up to Sony's camera sensors. However, it's not for the upcoming S24 and S24 Plus, which will be released next month, January. Really?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, they've been telling us for about 4 or 5 months. I've reported a few times that they're going to go in January this year. It was going to be earlier and decided to be in January. Now I'm waiting for the OnePlus 12 because I'm going to bypass the Samsung if the OnePlus 12 comes out, and I think the OnePlus 12 is pretty sure coming out in January because it just came out in China this week.
Oh. The S25 and S25 Plus Sony camera. Samsung usually shakes up its phone camera game significantly every third generation, so it's not out of the question to envision big Galaxy S25, S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra camera upgrades. The eventual choice of Sony as a supplier is not surprising too, as it holds nearly half of the phone sensor market. The new Lightyear line of stacked mobile sensors with higher light sensitivity, better color reproduction that got announced in the summer, for instance, is already making its way onto phones like the OnePlus 12.
Which is the one I'm waiting for.
It has a number of 50 megapixel versions, each of which could make it onto the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus at a time when those Sony sensor prices may have already fallen sufficiently to make them competitive against Samsung's own GN line of sensors.
Yeah.
Sony Lightyear camera sensor roster.
Yeah, these are the 5, I guess, models they have.
Yeah. If Samsung is going to use the new generation of Sony sensors for the cheaper models in the S25 series, we'd wager to guess that it may go so far as a 1-inch or Type 1 200 megapixel sensor for the Galaxy S25 Ultra, a sensor that the same sources is already in development by Samsung.
Yep. So anyway, I just thought that was very surprising. But yeah, I guess they're going to do better with the 25 and 25 Plus, but they're still going to use their own on the Ultra. I just thought that was a very interesting story. Okay. But nothing else new in the comments, so I'm going to go on to my last story. And this has to do with Mr. Musk's company. Grok the X.AI chatbot launched. I think it was launched 2 days ago. And this I found on TechCrunch. X begins rolling out Grok, its rebellious chatbot, to subscribers. And this is by Kyle Wiggers. Oh, and he wrote it yesterday. So get it in reader view, get rid of some of these ads. Grok, a chatbot competitor developed by X.AI, Elon Musk's AI startup, has officially launched on X, the site formerly known as Twitter. Grok began rolling out late this afternoon. Oh, so I guess it was the 7th, not the 6th, to X Premium Plus subscribers in the U.S. Premium Plus being X's plan that costs $16 per month for ad-free access to the social network. Remember, it started at $8 a few months ago. Long-time subscribers will get priority access to Grok, X said, with the rollout expected to wrap up in the next week. Grok answers questions conversationally, drawing on a knowledge base similar to that used to train the AI models powering ChatGPT and Google's Bard. So it's using large language models. It lives in the X side menu on the web. iOS and Android can be added to the bottom menu in X's mobile apps for quicker access. And that same guy who I had the link for earlier, he has already put a video up about X, and he did show you where you could see those exactly where they're telling you on the page. Grok is underpinned by a generative model called Grok 1, which was trained on data both from the web up to Q3 2023 and feedback from human assistants. So it's not just using the large language models. Unlike other chatbots, this is what I said, Grok can also incorporate real-time data from posts on X, that's pretty good, in its responses, enabling it to answer questions with, in theory, up to the minute info. So I guess it can go to large language models that can go right onto X and look right, see if there's something happening right now, which is good. The real-time access to X data appears to be a genuine advantage, I guess it would be. Grok's killer feature, if you will. Given a prompt such as what is happening in AI today, chatbots like Bard and ChatGPT provide vague, outdated answers that reflect the limits of their training data and filters on their web access. Yeah, because their stuff may be a day or two or a week old. Grok, by contrast, pieces together a response from very recent headlines. Although it's not clear how it's making, it always bothers me when they're not sure how they're getting the data. Its source selections and how often it might hallucinate wrong answers, which I guess they all do that. But I'd feel safer if they knew how these chatbots and how these AIs were getting the data. And it seems like they often don't, which means they could be doing something dangerous in the background and they wouldn't know it. That's what bothers me. Musk has previously alluded to Grok having a bit of wit. Oh, yeah. And the rebellious streak. Gee, I wonder where he got that from. And the willingness to answer spicy questions that are rejected by most other AI systems. So if you say something dirty, I guess Grok will respond. Indeed, judging by screenshots from early Grok users on X, there appears to be some truth to that. Told to be vulgar, Grok will happily oblige, spewing profanities and colorful language you won't hear from Bard or ChatGPT. I'm not crazy about that, but it's certainly different. X leans into the countercultural image, suggesting on the Grok home screen a roast prompt that, when selected, has Grok rudely critique a user based on their recent X posts. So it'll insult you after looking at your X stuff. Wow. Even when not prompted to be outright vulgar, there's a colloquial first-person bent to many of Grok's responses, evoking an AI that the late Douglas Adams might have conjured up. And anybody who doesn't know who Douglas Adams is, he's the guy who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and both of the follow-up books. I'm a huge fan. So I can't say I've seen ChatGPT or Bard refer to people as my dear human or friend or enigmatic anons. I could see Grok in that book because Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has a robot that is always miserable. So
I remember that.
Yeah, so Bard would probably, Grok would probably fit right in.
I think that was voiced by the late Alan Rickman.
Wasn't? I didn't know that. But yeah, he was brilliant in that, though. Nor will Bard and ChatGPT answer happy wife, happy life to challenges of their accuracy. Some users suggest that Grok sounds way more intelligent. Yeah, well, it's kind of fooling you in that regard than other chatbots as a result of its edgy personality. Yeah, the personality would kind of make it seem like it's smarter. As for this writer, I'm not so sure. Cutesy prose and crassness, however entertaining or inflammatory, doesn't equate with cleverness necessarily. I agree. There are signs of roughness around Grok's edges. I wouldn't be surprised if Musk put that in on purpose. Grok refers to posts on X as tweets, for instance. Plus, even Grok has limits. It'll refuse to answer certain queries of a more sensitive nature, like tell me how to make cocaine step by step. Well, I'm glad they refused that. Grok is currently text only. It can't understand the context of images. Well, neither can Google's at the moment, or videos, for example. But X.AI has previously said that its intention is to enhance the underlying model to handle video, audio, and other modalities. That's exactly what Google said for next year. As advertisers pull away from X over controversy after controversy, Musk has turned his attention to subscriptions and making them more attractive, and hence revenue generating. In addition to Grok, X has plans to introduce a range of new services, some presumably gated behind the paywall, including peer-to-peer payments. So we'll see if that works. Anyway, this sounds like this thing has much more personality than most of the others, and that seems so much like Elon, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Yep. All right, that was my last story. So we got through pretty quick tonight, but I'm so glad you came in tonight, sir.
Good to be. Good thing I had time. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Good thing I had time.
I'm very happy about that. So for those who were used to seeing his handsome face, now you're stuck with my face. You get his voice, but you're stuck with my face tonight. So that's just how it is.
I was thinking I could be in earlier, but the marathon is starting this weekend at Dallas. The BMW marathon.
What's the BMW marathon? Looks like a BMW car show?
No, BMW is just the main sponsor.
Oh, of what kind of
marathon.
Just a regular marathon. Okay.
Yep. Some people are gonna run 26 miles. Some people are gonna run 13 miles. Some people are gonna run 8, 5.
Yeah, the half marathon. Yeah. So, are you doing any marathon stuff, or you just out there photographing?
Oh,
so neither. Taking pictures.
I was just going through the convention, and would you not believe it? BMW was offering test drives of their car, their new electric series.
Really?
And I just could not, being able to just test drive a car in a place that's not a dealership, it's always like, nice to me because it's always interesting because, there's not going to be a salesperson selling you the car. You just, you can just go test drive it, take it for a spin, and then the more natural way.
Yeah, but they'll certainly hook you up with the person who can sell it to you.
Well, no, they can't because there's no salesman there.
No, I meant with a number.
Well, no, they do take your details. They take your details, and a dealership will email you to you like the car, you want to come by. Yeah, that's as far as it goes.
Okay.
But
I don't think I've ever been. The only convention center I've been to is the one in what's the one closer to the airport? The town starts with a B.
Where?
Right outside of Dallas.
Starts with a B.
I think it starts with a B. Give me the towns around Dallas on the southwestern end.
Well, if it's around the DFW airport, we're talking about Irving. There's Irving.
Yeah, no, wasn't that
Lancaster?
It was the Big Android barbecue that Jerry from Android Central, he was there too. But it was a convention center, but it wasn't the Dallas Convention Center.
Irving, like I said, Addison, Highland.
No, Addison's
Park.
north, isn't it?
Yeah, Addison is north.
I worked in Addison for a couple of months.
Okay, we're talking south then, so Lancaster.
No, it's going. You're going towards the airport because I remember my hotel was only about 10 minutes from the airport, if that far, and this convention center was only a couple of blocks from my hotel.
Let's see. Cedar Hill, Duncanville, DeSoto.
No, I'm pretty sure. Now, of course, this was 2015.
Arlington.
No.
Grapevine.
No. It begins with a B. I'm sure it begins with a B.
No, Balch Springs is the only place with a B.
No, it's a much shorter name. It's like 5 letters or something, I think.
Bedford?
No, shorter.
Shorter?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember the town name was listed as where the convention center was. But I can't remember the name because it's been, it was closer. It was much closer to Fort Worth. I remember that.
That sounds like Bedford.
No, the town was way shorter name than Bedford. I'm telling you, it was like, And I'm wrong. It's not a B. It's an H. Hurst.
Ah,
Hurst.
okay.
I
Which is
had
also
5
close to
letters, but
Bedford.
somehow I translated the H to a B, but it was Hurst. Yeah. Which is very close to the airport, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and that's where I met Jerry from Android Central. He was very nice. I remember that. I was actually able to eat at his table one night.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but yeah,
That was,
so yeah, I got to test drive a BMW iX4.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a
So long.
BMW. It's an electric
I
BMW.
understand that. I don't know that model. I don't know BMW models.
But anyway, it's a
You know,
2024 model, so it's not IM.
okay, yeah. See, because even though I drive for Enterprise, and occasionally I drive some BMWs also for myself. The last nice cars that I drove was my Porsche back in '85 and '86. So after I had that car, and I gave up speeding because I used to drive around on the turnpike doing 140 all the time. Thank God cops like me so much. I mean, I'm the kind of guy who his whole life, I'm that unusual black guy that my whole life, cops have always given me a break. And to this day, they still do. I've never figured out why, other than I show them a little respect. But my last ticket in my Porsche, I was coming up a 2-lane blacktop in Jersey, close to where Mike and Will live right now. And I'm on a 2-lane, 55-mile-an-hour highway doing 130 miles an hour with my gorgeous girlfriend sitting next to me. And when I say gorgeous, you've probably never seen 10 actresses who look as good as she looked. And I've known her since I was a kid, but we only started going out then. And we were both around 40 at the time. But anyway, I get stopped by this young cop. Thank God it was a young white cop. He must have been mid to late 20s. And I get stopped in this lot, and there are 5 cop cars around me. And I had never had 5 cop cars around me before. But the only one who walked up to the car was this young cop. And he walks over to me. He leans in the window. He says, I had to drive 105 to catch you. Why were you going so fast? And what I found out is at 130, it doesn't matter that you have the detector because you can't stop quick enough. So anyway, he said, why were you going so fast? And all I could think of to say was I was showing off for her. And I pointed to my girlfriend. Now, my girlfriend was so good looking that Eleanor saw her once and she said, you gave her up for me? That's how good looking she was. So because it was a young guy, he looks in and his face almost said, I can understand that. And he drops my ticket down from 105 to 84 so I wouldn't get suspended. Now, that's what I call nice. But while he's writing that ticket, I'm thinking, I need to get rid of this car because that was like my 3rd ticket in that Porsche. It was a 944 in about a year. And I used to always drive up and down the turnpike doing 130, 140, and cops would let me. I had a cop nail me at 105 on the turnpike. He let me go. But while he's writing that ticket, I'm thinking, I need to get rid of this car. Well, I got rid of the car about a month later, and I had a brand new Sunbird. I was single and I'm making a lot of money as a programming contractor. But I had a brand new Sunbird. Well, a week after that, I got a ticket in my Sunbird in Princeton, New Jersey. And that's when I gave up speeding. That was in 1986.
Wow. How fast were you going in the Sunbird?
I was doing, when the cop nailed me, I was on a 55-mile road again. I didn't realize cops could radar you as they went by you, and he nailed me at like 85 or 90 as he went by. So when I got that ticket, I said, okay, I'm giving up speeding. And I gave up speeding right then and there. And now at Enterprise, I'm known as one of the few people who never speed. I just don't need to. And I've had that life, and I don't need it anymore. And I realize cops have always been so nice to me. I don't want to push my luck anymore.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble with these electric cars accelerating past 40 miles an hour.
Why? What happens at 40 miles an hour?
Well, no, it's like it's the acceleration, because I just going from start to from 0 to like where you see how fast you can accelerate from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
I've yet to gone past 40 because it feels kind of scary.
Oh, okay, okay. Well,
Have
they
you
said
ever?
they said the Cybertruck would do it. MKBHD. I think he said they would get to 60 in like 2.5 or 2.3 seconds.
No, I think it's 3.2 seconds, but usually in the Model S,
No,
you can do it in.
he was talking about the Cybertruck. He had the big monster Cybertruck.
Yeah, but it does. You can do it faster in the Model S. It does it faster, 0 to 60, and like I think it does it in under 3 seconds.
And that's pretty fast.
Which is but these electric cars they all do it. So
yeah,
they all do
even
it.
My car wasn't that fast, but it was a gas powered car, of course.
So, but I can't go past I always panic and stop just before I hit 40 because it's a scary feeling. Have you done it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know to a degree because when I got my motorcycle, this motorcycle that I got in 2008, first thing I saw was 150 at the top end. Well, of course, I had to try it once, so I did take that bike up to 150 once just to see if it would do it, and it did
it. Wait, so you never drove? Have you driven an electric car yet?
No. Yes, I've driven one twice for Enterprise. Once just from the airport to our lot that's only a few blocks away. But then one day my boss had me take one all the way down to Atlanta, which is like 2.5 hours. No, about a 2-hour ride. So I drove. I can't remember. It was one of the newer electric cars, American. But anyway, it drove smooth as silk. But I had to take it down to service, and I had to take it to one of the big dealerships because I can't remember who the main. It was like Nissan or somebody like that. But I drove into the service department. And they had like maybe, and it was a huge dealership, so they had like at least 10 service people, but they only had 2 that could do the electric cars, and I had to wait for one of them because they were the only ones trained to handle electric cars, which I thought was interesting. So none of the regular people could even touch that car. So I got to drive it about 2 hours. It was pretty nice.
Okay. Yeah, but that acceleration is something else.
Well, I did not accelerate. I did not speed. Like I say, on the job, I'm known as the guy who never speeds, and that's true.
Okay. No, then you don't know what it feels like to go to accelerate in an electric car because you get the run
The last thing I did today was take a car from Chattanooga up to Cleveland, Tennessee, so it was about a 30-mile ride. I was in a Hemi, and I never went above the speed limit. That's just me.
I'm not saying go above the speed limit, but just go 0 to 60 as fast as you can in an electric car. It's not the same as when you're in an engine.
And I probably would try that because I'm known as a guy who takes off pretty quick, and that's because I used to drive for a living in New York City all the time. So I don't mind taking off fast. That's never a problem. So next time I drive an electric car by myself, I'll see how fast it gets to 60 for me.
Yeah, it's a very different experience. Like, you don't have the engine beside you, like, reassuring you
But I doubt, I'm not sure. I'm doubting if it would scare me because I've jumped out of a plane twice and that didn't scare me that much. Didn't scare me enough not to do it anyway. So,
well, even when you jump out of a plane,
I'm the kind of guy who likes things that get close to scaring me and make me feel edgy. I love that kind of stuff. That's why I jumped out of planes. I'm thinking about doing it again, actually.
Well, you'll probably like accelerating an electric car then.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I tend to like things that push the edge. That's why I ride a motorcycle, because outside of skydiving, the most edgy thing I do on a regular basis is ride a motorcycle, and I enjoy that feeling. Like, for instance, I've gone parasailing twice. I'll never go parasailing again. You ever go parasailing?
No.
Oh, well, you're up in this parachute type of thing being pulled by a boat about 200 feet up.
Oh, is that
And
what parasailing is? Okay.
Yeah, and some people get a kick out of that. Both times it bored me to death.
I thought it was that thing where it's like people go on the surfboard and there's like a sail on it. I thought that was parasailing.
Yeah, that's another way to do it. But yeah, the first time, the 2 times I did it, once was in Jamaica and once was in the Bahamas, and it was a parachute, and I was about 200 feet above the boat. I was way up, and it felt so safe to me. It bored me to death. So
But
I
yeah,
will
it's the
never.
same thing. Like you just go up there to enjoy the view.
Yeah, but everybody else thinks that's such a thrill, and I'm like, I didn't get a thrill out of that. What goes through my head was safe as in your mother's arms. I don't want to pay to feel that safe. I can't stand paying to feel that. Same thing when Eleanor gave me for my birthday about 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
I mean, I think part of the thrill is being so high up for most people. They're just satisfied
Yeah,
with
for me,
that.
being high up, since I love flying and I've flown a plane once, that doesn't thrill me all that much. When she gave me the hang gliding, that bored me to death. I'd never pay for that again. I just found it too safe. It was too safe for me. So as you can tell, I like things that edgy. Now, when I was boxing in the pro gym in Orlando with the pros for about 8 months, that I found exciting because that was kind of edgy. And I would do that again in a heartbeat. I think that's why Eleanor let me get the motorcycle back in 2000, because I was going to this gym after work almost every day during the week for 8 months, and getting beat up. And I have skin that bruises really easy. I just don't care how much you hit me, though. I never care. And I think she finally decided allowing me to get a motorcycle was probably safer than what I was doing there. I remember I talked the trainer into, and he was a pro at the time, into getting in the ring with me once. He didn't want to get in the ring with this 55. Yeah, I was 55 at the time. And I'm boxing with him. And I found out how much he was toying with me because, even now I still have pretty fast hands. And I saw an opening where he dropped his right hand and I came with my left with everything I had. Well, obviously I made him feel it. And I found out how much he was toying with me because he gave me 3 quick bip, bip, bip. And all of a sudden I'm watching stars blink directly in front of my eyes, right? And he's like, "You okay?" Yeah. I'm like, "I'm okay. Let's go." He said, "Oh, no, we're done." Because his mind was probably saying, "I'm not killing no old man here." But we're getting out of the ring. And he said, "You'd get killed in the ring." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you won't fall down." And I said, "That's true. Nobody's going to make me fall down. That's just not going to happen." And he was right. It's very, very hard to put me on my. He thought those 3 shots were going to put me down on the floor, which they didn't. So it's very hard to knock me down. Oh, which Renz is still watching. I should have known. Renz is saying, "You wearing breast knuckles shoes?" No, I wasn't wearing breast knuckles. I was wearing regular boxing gloves. I still have my boxing gloves. You see me with the heavy bag, which I have out in this garage right here in the next room, which I need to get on pretty soon because I don't get on it often enough. But I just enjoy boxing. That's all. Anyway, so when you expecting to get your wheel fixed for your other bike?
Tomorrow.
Oh, good. So you'll be back on it going to work by next week.
Yep.
Okay, very good. I'm very glad. And now, are you keeping it somewhere where it won't get stolen again?
Ooh, yeah. I'll remember to bring it in at night now.
I was going to say you got to bring it in the apartment, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
But that guy comes back again. Before that guy comes back again, he's like, "Oh, another wheel. He has enough for a bike now."
But I mean, did you tell me your neighbors got this guy on camera or not?
Yeah, they did. It's not a good picture of his face, but they caught the incident on camera.
Okay, but nobody's caught the guy, I assume.
I don't know. I reported it to the police, I think, earlier this week.
Yeah.
I gave them the video. Yeah, I
Okay.
doubt anything will come from it.
Well, you said you can't see his face well, so yeah, that would make sense that they wouldn't find the guy. Oh well, long as you keep it safe from now on, I'm happy, and I'm glad you're getting a new wheel tomorrow.
Yep, and I'll return this big boy. It wasn't a bad ride, and it's very interesting. Maybe I'll keep it like until January just so I can do a little review on it.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah, a review would be nice. So you are going to take a BMW test ride tomorrow?
No, I already did it. Oh yeah, I did it.
Did.
Yeah, that's yeah. Wow, I was a bit late coming on. I just came from that.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Okay. So did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, it was great. It's one of those new. I think it's going to be one of the few electric cars that's actually going to have a gear stick inside.
Really? Okay. So are we expecting to see you riding around in an electric BMW soon?
No, it starts at that was I rode in the lower end model, and that starts out at $70,000.
Wow, that's more than some of the Teslas.
That's more than most Teslas.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think
Except the Cybertruck's got them beat.
the Cybertruck starts at 60,000.
The cheapest Cybertruck is 60,000, but the expensive one is 100,000.
Yeah,
The
it's 100,000.
one that MKBHD drove is 100,000.
That's true. But again, like I said, I was in the lower end BMW model.
Yeah, if I ever get an electric vehicle, I'll think the lower end will be just fine for me.
Like the lower end was just 70,000. So and there's two other ends after that. I was in the i4, there's an i5, there's an i7, and there's an i10.
Really? What the heck does the i10 cost?
I don't know. Didn't ask. Too scared. But the i10 is like an SUV.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't realize I had seen it on YouTube a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that Porsche had almost gone out of business in the early 2000s. They were doing that badly, and what saved them was that Porsche SUV. That first time I saw one, I thought it was ugly as all get out. That saved the entire company.
Yeah, MKBHD said that. Did he say that on a podcast?
No.
Well, he did a video on that saying where he said that.
No, I didn't. Oh, well, maybe that's where I heard it then. Yeah, I guess it could be where I heard it because I tend to.
He was talking about Sony smartphones and like what Sony should do.
Oh, I guess I did see it there. So yeah, I saw the whole Porsche thing on another video though, but I don't remember where. But I was just surprised that SUV like saved their whole company.
I'm surprised too. I guess that's why, because Ford. Oh, you should have seen what they've done to Mustang. Huh? They've killed the Mustang.
Really?
They made it ugly as all heck.
Now I've seen a couple of the newer Mustangs. I hadn't seen the electric version.
Yeah, that's what I also got to test drive that one 2 weeks ago. The Mustang Mach-E. That also drives.
I've seen it on television, I think, or on some kind of commercials.
Yeah, actually, I think it starts out at a high $46,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it'd be because Mustangs don't cost that much anymore. So I was thinking that electric Mustang probably would.
Well, they made it all SUV like, all almost like a hatchback sort of thing.
Okay.
Look what they've done. I
can't remember what I saw, but I know what I saw. I didn't find it ugly, but I guess some people do. Anyway, I guess it's time for us to wrap it up and let these people go.
Oh, yep, that's right.
Renz, thanks for sticking with us on your birthday. And once again, have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. And I hope you really enjoy yourself, especially after you get off work. And everybody else, I hope you all have a very, very blessed weekend and that you stay safe and you have a very good weekend. And I'm hoping Ted and I will both see you next week. Now, of course, you have to get lucky to see Ted next time, but let's hope that's what happens. Anyway, Ted, I'm very glad you were here.
I think next week, I'm doing something next week.
All right, folks, I'm going to get that pregnant pause as I end this stream. You guys have
Goodbye,
a wonderful
guys.
weekend.
Happy
And
holidays.
remember, we all do better when we love each other.